what do the best estate agents do to make your job easier and generally speed the process up?
When we get a really detailed memo, I don't want to see Mr. and Mrs. Smith selling to Mr. and Mrs. Jones, which a lot of agents do. And it's such a small thing as that, but it means if we have full names right off the bat, we can put them into the contract correctly right off the bat. And that means one less inquiry that's going to be raised. You know how we talk about the dreaded inquiry stage when people, oh my God, what is that? It takes so long. That could eliminate one straight away, one less to do. And things on the memo, like including whether are they buying it cash, are they buying it mortgage, have they agreed contents, is there any truly specific dates that people need by. A lot of agents put on their memo, I don't know if you guys do this, a lot of people put on their memos 28-day exchange required. Is it really? You know, why?
The MOS is a crucial key bit of information and how that can help. Yeah. So the more information, I guess, the better.
Yeah. Oh, and it also helps if my buyer's got a sale, put that on the memo. The buyer is also subject to contract on his own property.
Okay.
With a bigger picture sometimes. Because sometimes you'll be surprised how often we don't know till halfway in because because we're not privy to the information, because we're only privy to our own transaction. We learn that our client's buyer has a sale. Oh God, if you think about it in the process, there's a bit of a gap there because nowhere is capturing that.
Yeah.
Other than the only place it could really be captured is the memo when you, because obviously you will know when you accept the offer, because you're checking the buyer's financial situation. Presumably, you know that they're having to sell theirs to buy this one. That would be really helpful.
So that would speed things up for a start. You think having all that information on there?
Yeah.
So, what does the perfect memorandum of sale look like to you? Like, names, price, conveyance on the other side. It's attention to detail, isn't it?
Specific email addresses for the other side's conveyance. You are pretty good for that, to be honest, but a lot of agents don't take the time. So at Taylor Rose, for example, obviously we're a huge outfit. There's lots of offices, there's hundreds of consultants, and there's hundreds of just employed conveyancers. So sometimes I think when a memo is generated, the agent will just put the name of the conveyancer that they know from Taylor Rose. I get a lot of memos from random estate agents, and I have to go back and say, this is not for me, I don't know who that is. Oh, sorry, you're just in the system. And then what happens is, because the memo goes out to the other side as well, doesn't it?
Yeah,
so they've got I'm on there. So then I get a draft contract back 3 weeks later, and I have to say, it's not mine, sorry.
To just spend a bit of time as an agent.
Yeah.
The thing is, if that doesn't get picked up by a diligent agent, that can slow down the process by a week, 2 weeks, and the other side getting the contract together and getting it across. So attention to detail, I think, is vital on that. Also, from an agent's point of view, I would stress to anyone, and this is something that Sandra really rammed home to us as well in the office, was, protecting your reputation as agents with the sales memo. So if the seller says to you, puts it in writing and says, we're selling chain free, we're moving out. We all know, and Dave, I think you had one last week where they weren't moving out, end of chain, they now want to buy. Having that on the memorandum of sale saying seller is agreeable to breaking the chain, and seller is selling chain free. Even if they change their mind, which you can't stop them doing, it's not legally binding on that memo, but it protects your reputation as the agent. So that when it comes to the buyer, and the buyer says, you said they were moving out, and say, well, that's what we were told, hence why it's on the memo. And you can, it's a good way of kind of keeping people on side, because the transparency is there and it is in black and white, and there's a lot to be said with and also I think it focuses the mind of the people that they're prepared to put their name to something, and they know it's going to legal professionals and in chains. With that on, they're much more likely to stick to it.
I think as well, just to add on to that, if, like you say, you can't hold them to that because it's not legally binding. However, it would catch it earlier if they were going to change their mind. Because if that was on the memo, let's say it said seller agrees to break the chain, one of the questions in the tier 6 is this dependent on a related purchase. So if I have, and I always check the memo when I do my inquiries, so if I have a memo saying seller's going to break the chain, but they've answered the tier 6 to say I'm dependent on a related purchase, I would catch that. Then I would raise an inquiry. That would form one of the inquiries to say, which is it?
Yeah.
So it would catch it so much earlier rather than 6 weeks in. Then we're learning, the seller's agreed all the whole time to bit chain. And I would at that point, if that was on the memo, I would say, I didn't know that in the tier 6. They'd always said it was subject to a related purchase. How would I? So stuff like that. Just so the more detail on the memo, the better.